Dollar General runs more stores in America than any other retailer alive. More than 4 of them for every single Walmart. And it built that lead in the towns everyone else looked at and drove past. Not by beating Walmart on price, by going where Walmart would never bother to build. For millions of Americans, it isn't the cheap option down the road. It's the only store left. Follow the map, and you'll find a machine that turned being too small to matter into the best real estate in retail, Undervalued. The business they don't teach you. Start with the box itself. A Dollar General store is tiny, about 7,500 square feet of selling space, roughly the size of a chain drugstore dropped onto a 2-lane road outside of nowhere. It's cheap to lease, cheap to build, and it opens fast. The company adds about 2 new stores a day, every day, and has for years. But the size isn't the trick. The trick is where they put it. A Walmart supercenter needs a big city's worth of shoppers to pay for itself. Dollar General needs a few hundred families and a parking lot, which quietly changes what counts as a market. Here's the arbitrage, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Big box retail has a flaw. A supercenter, a Target, a Costco, each one needs a trade area with tens of thousands of people to earn back the land, the building, and the trucks. Below that line, the math dies, and the big chains simply don't show up. Dollar General built its entire company under that line. Roughly 80% of its stores sit in towns of 20,000 people or fewer. It targets the exact places too small for Walmart to want, and increasingly too small to keep a grocery store of their own. It didn't outcompete the giants, it colonized the map they left blank. And that blank map is enormous. Put the scale on the board. Dollar General ended its last fiscal year with more than 20,600 stores. Walmart, Target, and Costco, the 3 giants of American retail, run a little over 7,000 between them combined. So there are almost 3 Dollar Generals for every big box store those 3 own put together. Stand anywhere in the country and the odds are strange. About 3/4 of Americans live within 5 miles of one. Most of them never think about it. That's the point. It isn't a destination, it's just always there. But what's actually inside that box explains everything. Walk in and the shelves tell you the real business. Roughly 80% of what Dollar General sells is consumables: food, cleaning supplies, paper goods, the stuff you run out of and replace on a loop. That's the engine. You don't drive 40 minutes for a sofa. You stop for the things you'll need again next week. Low prices pull you in. The everyday need frequency keeps you coming back. It adds up to more than $40 billion a year in sales, built almost entirely on small, boring, repeat purchases. No fashion, no seasons, no gamble. Just the same short list of what a household burns through, sold a few hundred families at a time. And that model does something to the towns it lands in. Watch the map fill in. In 2020, Dollar General ran about 17,000 stores. It kept opening town by town, blank spot by blank spot, straight through a pandemic and an inflation spike that hammered its own customers. And it never slowed down. By last year, it passed 20,600. That's not a company chasing a trend. That's a company methodically occupying every place the competition decided wasn't worth it. Each new pin on the map is another town where Dollar General becomes the closest thing to a store. And in a lot of those towns, it's the last one standing. Here's the part the company would rather you not connect. When a dollar store opens in a small town, the independent grocer down the street tends to die. The Department of Agriculture studied it and put numbers on it in 2024. After a dollar store moves in, a rural grocery's sales drop more than 9%. Its jobs drop about 7%, and it becomes 3 times likelier to close than a grocer in the city. The dollar store skims the easy, high-frequency dollars, the soda, the snacks, the paper towels that kept the grocer alive. The grocer closes. The fresh meat and produce leave with it. And the town that had a supermarket now has a Dollar General and a longer drive for a vegetable. The chain didn't plan the food desert. It just profits from the terrain a food desert creates. But the model has one more hidden cost, and it lands on the people inside the store. That model runs on being cheap to operate, and that includes the payroll. Dollar General's small boxes are famously thinly staffed, sometimes a single employee minding the whole store. Boxes pile up in the aisles, exits get blocked, and federal safety inspectors have noticed again and again. Since 2017, the Labor Department has hit Dollar General with more than $21 million in penalties for blocked fire exits, buried electrical panels, and merchandise stacked into hazards. In 2024, the company agreed to a $12 million settlement and a promise to actually fix the stores. The fines are the cost of a model built to run lean, which raises the real question about what this whole machine is. So name the machine plainly. Dollar General's growth doesn't depend on selling better than Walmart. It depends on there being places Walmart won't go. Small towns, thin wallets, empty maps, and on getting there first. It's real estate arbitrage dressed as a discount store. Buy access to the customers nobody else wants, at a scale nobody else can match, and become the default. If you like watching a familiar business turn into something stranger under the hood, subscribe. That's the whole channel, one hidden machine a week. Because the strangest part isn't the 20,000 stores, it's that the model works best exactly where the town is losing. The emptier the map, the better the business. And that deserves an honest defense. Now the fair version, before the comments supply it. For a family 20 miles from the nearest supermarket, a Dollar General isn't a villain. It's shampoo, canned food, and cleaning supplies they can actually reach, at prices they can actually pay. The company employs people in towns the economy walked away from. It's added fresh produce to more than 5,000 stores, trying to answer the food desert charge head-on. And it didn't cause rural decline. It walked into a vacuum that decades of lost jobs and shrinking towns had already carved out. All of that is true. None of it changes the shape of the machine. A business that grows fastest, where the town is weakest, is still a business that needs the town to stay weak. Which tells you what this really is. So here's what Dollar General actually is. Not the store that beat the competition. The store that moved to where there wasn't any. It found the towns too small for Walmart, too poor for Target, too far from anywhere to fight over, and it became the only door left open. That's the whole trick. Not a better store. The last one standing in the places nobody else would go. Dollar General never had to win the town. It just had to be the only store in it. Dollar General spent decades convincing small-town America it's just a convenient little store. The map says it's a strategy. Here's my question, and I want real answers below. What's the store, gas station, or chain in your town that quietly became the only option left? The one you use because there's nothing else? Drop it in the comments. It might be the next episode. Subscribe for one hidden machine a week. Next up, Ticketmaster, the company that makes you hate it and pay it anyway.